Hey, instead of Steve, please like and subscribe. Please click on the Deck Heroes icon, click on subscribe. It's 100% free. Blood in, blood out. And also click on the notifications. Got lots of amazing videos, lots of amazing content, including this video that we're about to do. It's about women who don't want to be wives. It's on this channel that I just discovered yesterday, and it's like different perspective on life, and it's always interesting to have that variety of thought and influence. And another thing I wanted to do, I didn't just want to have, I've always wanted a channel which is in the middle, which is kind of positive and progressive anyway. I always wanted a channel that was positive and progressive. It wasn't trying to say that, no way was it ever trying to say that we don't need women and we're happy being single. We're men. We're men. Man up. I'm never going to have one of those videos. We're straight, right? We all straight. We love women. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm not into woman hater videos, but I do want to expose reality, and I'm definitely not into man hater videos. But what we got to think about, and what I've noticed from these videos and this video that we're about to see, I actually did a review on this video, and then I realized it was full of so much bullshit in terms of content that I just deleted it. I just kind of thought, I can't just stop this video every 3 seconds and just correct this misinformation. You know what I mean? And on that subject of misinformation, I've done a different politically context misinformation video. Misinformation is when you fire out assertions which have no foundation in fact. And this is what's leading a lot of society to where it is. And I'll bring it back to the whole kind of woman, man, wife thing. If throw out assertions got no basis in fact, and what's most dangerous about it is that without that critical thought about what's happening, the listener fills in the gaps. The listener fills in the gaps. And if you're filling in your own gaps for the bullshit that you're hearing, then obviously you're going to agree with it. Okay? Not see it for the bullshit that is what that it is. You know what I mean? So somebody gives you a point of view, facts driven, and you can see the logical flow of a logical argument. Fair enough. But it's this misinformation I can't stand. Think about society where it is now. Think about the vested interest and where things are moving, especially in terms of cultural norms and political correctness and all that type of stuff, right? The social influences. If there's videos out there which are if there's videos out there which are actively encouraging men that they don't need women and just to be isolated to themselves, why don't you just stick with your mates or just stick with yourself? You don't need women. If you got videos of that influence, that's a very specific political video with societal implications. And then exactly on the other side, if you've got ladies which are convincing other women, well, you don't really need a man. What do you need a man for? You know what I mean? You can go sperm donor, you can have a child and raise it by yourself and be supported by society, and whatever you can't do, it's not going to be down to you and your fault. Is why isn't society providing it? He's basically making all those excuses which kind of marginalize the influence of a man, and men are toxic. Then you're both men and women are going in parallel and not together. Now, why would society draw us in that direction? One of the reasons, which is kind of just a conceptual thing, I'm not making conclusions, it's kind of, or I'm not making your conclusions. Okay, and it's just one of these food for thought things which has come to me. I watch some of these videos, especially the men who convince men, because I'm a man, especially of a man who's trying to convince another man that you don't need women. As a straight man, I can't understand conceptually where they're coming from. I can't understand it, and that's not ever where I want to be. I'm a straight man. That's never going to be my conclusion. Right? So what are their motivations to try and make me turn my back on women? Think about it. I don't want to get too deep into it. Maybe it's just a naivete or some kind of intellectual arrogance, or maybe they want the society to go in the direction that it is. Right? So that's the men. And for the women, there's so many female videos out there, including this one. It's maybe the worst example or the best example of the worst, if you know what I mean. There's so many videos out there which are trying to intellectualize to women that they don't need men. Men are the patriarchy, men are everything toxic, men are every reason why there's a problem in your life. Men have taken away from you in every single regard, and they have nothing positive to add, and the thing that they should have is basically just in terms of give, and why aren't they spending money on you, and why aren't they happy to spend that money on you, and you're worth it, and you're the boss babe, and why is she putting up with this, and all basically making excuses for people so they have no self-reflection, and they're just being gassed all the time. But they're being gassed in a way which makes them toxic, and they won't take ownership for anything about. If you've got a selfish mindset, and I say this applies to both, but I've already talked about the men, but it applies to both. If you've got a toxic mindset, then you're not good company to be around, and people are not going to be around you for that reason. Okay? And take ownership and have an honest, fair-minded standpoint. It's not about this kind of entitlement mindset about, well, I don't have to do anything, but everybody else should do it for me. This woman here, I'm convinced, and tell me if you're wrong, I don't know, she has a political agenda similar to the things that I just talked about. She doesn't have not one single good thing to say about men. I'm going to have to speed it up. And I'm not going to jump on all the points, and I might not even get through the entirety of her video. I'll get to the point where I think I've made enough of the point, or we know where it's going, and then I'm going to have to stop. I'm not going to go to all the points because, as I said, there's so much bullshit there. I'll be stopping more or less every other sentence, and you'll see it. And I will stop it frequently, so be ready. But it's only just to stop and expose the spread of misinformation. This woman does not want any woman to be with a man. But let's see the logic about what she says. You know, who knows? Maybe she's going to be right. Maybe she is right. Maybe she has some valid points. Maybe she's just full of bullshit. We will see. But anything I see, I'm going to let any kind of fair points ride. And to be honest, as I say, if I feel like I'm stopping the video too much, I may let some of the bullshit ride as well. All that, I'm going to play the video. One of the core points I need to make clear now, because it's the foundation for everything that she's going to say. I think what she's saying, and I've had to listen to it a few times, is a woman's worth can be given a monetary value, right? And apparently, and this, I don't know where this number comes from, and I don't know why it's relevant. A woman's value to this woman is based on, if you had a surrogate, it's going to cost $200,000, according to her. And I don't know where the surrogate comes from. Let's take it for what it is, and she's going to say it very soon. So if you've got a surrogate of $200,000, that's a high monetary value that a lot of men cannot afford, a lot of women can't afford. Anyway, a lot of men can't afford, and for that reason, women are being undervalued in society. And because most men can't afford that $200,000 that it would take to have a surrogate, the women are being undervalued and underappreciated. I'm going to round off that thing now a little bit before the video plays, as I say, because I'm going to be stopping it for long enough. There's this thing, this mindset that women having kids, not for the couple, not for each other, but they're having that kid for the man. Does that even make logical sense? It's that whole kind of, it's like a trope, which is meant to be LOL. Oh, you got me up the duff, so you better do it. No, you both engaged in the act of creating a life, and you both are equally invested in that life. So that, I don't want to point out stupid basic things, but this video is, let's go. Anyway, the one thing I'm going to need to do, let's just say I'm kind of in two minds, only because there's so much bullshit, as I said. I might have to play at a normal speed, but I'm going to try and get away with 1.25. Let's go.
The end of that original video that I stitched, the man also said, let's flip the table. What if men went around acting like they were so independent all the time and like they don't need women? Like, as if that's not the reality, as if that's not how most men act. Like, most men won't even ask for directions when they're lost. They will annihilate people to prove their independence. Like, they'll do anything. So it's kind of funny that he would even say that, because men do not go around acting like they need women, even though they very...
Right, so because men won't ask for directions when they're lost, They need women. She doesn't qualify that anymore, so I think there's an inference that men won't ask for well, number one, the inference that men won't ask for directions when they're lost, but that women will ask for directions when they're lost. I don't know what that proves. I don't think she's heard of Google Maps. I ask for directions if I happen to be not able to use Google Maps because I don't want to bother people, and I don't want to expose myself as a strange person in a strange place. I don't know, but I would ask, and I have asked. Anyway, you're not making any points. Let's move on.
Desperately, very clearly do, right? I just want to believe so badly that women feel the same way about them, and it's just, that's the fact that's not true. Oh, I don't want like this independent woman, like whatever. Yeah, most men don't want women to realize the fact that most men couldn't afford a woman. Now that we have placed a financial value on childcare, childbirth, like a surrogate costs upwards of $200,000 on the low end. Most men do not have that lying around, but yet they have more than one child by a woman, and they've probably never contributed that much money to benefit her, as she has by providing them the invaluable service of birthing and feeding and raising his children. So of course, most men don't want women to be independent because for a woman to realize her actual financial value out in the world does not benefit men. And men want it to always be about them. They never want to participate in arenas where women are also succeeding. This is, again, another overlap that they have with a toddler, right? When you
Men don't want to participate in arenas where women are succeeding. And again, listen, this is that straw man argument where she's just throwing these things out there. It's like kind of mud against the wall. Literally throwing mud. It's like, where does that even come from? Does that follow on for what she just said? Does that follow on for what she's about to say? Where's the facts and foundations in it? Or is it just words? But what's worrying is when this goes out, and as I said, without the critical thought, and this could be a man saying the same thing about women, and it would be just as much bullshit. If you're in a situation where people are not talking sense and they keep on throwing this mud and you keep taking this in every day, and you make sense of the nonsense, that's the worrying spread of misinformation. You know what I mean? Especially if you don't recognize the people who are at the source of it for the bullshit spreaders that they are. Anyway, let's go on.
With a toddler, you have to pretend like you're really bad at the game, right? You can't just whoop their ass, right? Like they're 2 years old. So you have to pretend like you're on the same like skill level as them, like that's what they like. Otherwise, they won't have fun. They'll just walk away. And what are we seeing men do? The minute that women are like, oh good, I don't have to hide the fact anymore that I'm valuable to society, that I'm worth money, that I can go to school, that I can go to work, that I can get my own job, get my own car, have my own place. Men are like, well, this isn't fun anymore. I only liked it when I was the one that could hold this shit over your head.
Right, so I think I think it's like, oh man, it's like I was just imagining like Spider-Man or Superman or something like that, really the superheroes, and the moment they say, oh no, I'm Clark Kent, it's like, oh, I'm not quite sure. I mean, anyway, I think what she's trying to say is as soon as women have got some kind of equality, then that's the thing, which means that men are no longer interested in women and kind of withdrawing from the dating market. It might be something to do in terms of yourself anyway. And it's probably something to do. In fact, you are the symbolism of this thing in some ways, since you've put it out there. And it might be something to do with the toxicity of the candidate. You know what I mean? There's plenty of women out there in positive, loving relationships, or plenty of couples out there in that positive, loving relationship, which has got that beautiful balance of all things. None of those relationships are going to have a healthy element of toxicity. You know what I mean? And I just hope, if I thought you were genuine, I've seen your whole video, so I don't think you're attracted to men, and that's an extreme thing to say. I definitely don't think you like men, even if you were attracted to them, and I'm not convinced that you are. And I do have a theory that if you don't understand things that you're not a part of. You know what I mean? So as to say, you're not. I don't want to go too far. If you're not attracted to men, you won't understand the concept of being attracted to men, and you won't understand the concept of wanting to be with men. You know what I mean? As a woman. So I think from that frame of reference, it can skew things potentially, and I don't want to. And I'm not talking about everybody, and it's just a theory. But yeah, I'm convinced. I'm gonna go back a little bit because I've been talking for a little while, but I'm convinced this lady doesn't like men anyway, and let's go.
I don't have to hide the fact anymore that I'm valuable to society, that I'm worth money, that I can go to school, that I can go to work, that I can get my own job, get my own car, have my own place. Men are like, well, this isn't fun anymore. I only liked it when I was the one that could hold this shit over your head. The moment that you reveal that you're not actually like dumber than them, they really hate that. That really turns them off. So they would never, ever want an independent woman, because then that means...
She said something about as soon as you reveal, you want to kind of, I don't want to put words into, I'm going to put words into her mouth just because she said the moment you reveal you're not dumber than them. So the moment you reveal your true intellectual capabilities, it kind of undermines a man. I say I'm making points. I don't believe in making somebody's point. But I guess that's what it is. No, I think it's to do with the toxicity and the lack of a cooperative and the lack of a feminine positivity, or just a comfortable, enjoyable relationship that you'd have on any level, even if it was just a friend. That's not the energy and the mentality that you project, I'm afraid.
They would have to be independent too. They never want to talk about what they are needed for, right? Like, men very obviously need women for some very obvious things, right? Access to women for men is not easy. So anytime you can secure...
She never qualifies that. Men obviously need women for some obvious things, but I'm not going to mention even one thing. Not even one thing. Listen, there's plenty. Oh my gosh, man! There's plenty of videos out there, especially by the legend Kevin Samuels. Men don't. Men need. We need men. Human beings are built not to be solitary individuals. Yes, we can be, but we're built to have partners, and that's not going into the kind of Adam and Eve thing, right? We're built to operate better in groups. We can do the isolation, but we don't want to naturally. But beyond that, men don't really need women for anything other than the production of babies. And if that was ever, I'd say we need you. Okay, people need to be in love, and men like sex and things like that. And there's true values in the balance that you get between a man and a woman. Okay, but stripping away from that, or that removed, men don't need women for anything. We can provide all the infrastructure in the world without exception. Every single piece of infrastructure in the world can be provided for by a man. And I don't want to get such a redundant argument, but it's just not the same the other way around. I don't want to make it a competition. What are you making a competition? Let's move on.
Continued and dependable access to a woman, that's already a win for you as a man, right? First of all, most men don't know basic life skills, so they literally need to keep a woman around just to do that. Dishes, laundry, cooking, cleaning, all of that. And then the obvious...
Dishes, laundry, and cleaning. Like, men can't do it. Okay, so hold on, men can't. Hold on, let's just think this through very quickly. So men can't put dishes in a dishwasher. I mean, I don't use a dishwasher, but technically, dishes in a dishwasher, can't do it, obviously, because I'm a man. Clothes in a washing machine, obviously can't do that because I'm a man. Dishes, laundry, and something like that. I can't remember. They're obviously being capable of doing it. And because women are capable of doing it, I'm pretty sure she's not talking about put it in the machine like what I've just said. Right? She must be thinking about kind of hand washing those clothes. Must be, and doing cooking as well, yeah. Of course, there's no world-class chefs out there that are men. So she's probably about right, yeah. And as I was saying, yeah, if you was married to this particular lady, she brought those things up, and it's stuff that men can't do. Yeah, the dishes, we can't put it in a bowl of hot water and soapy water and wash anything. We can't do that. What about our nails? And the clothes as well, for similar reasons. We can be scrubbing those clothes over the those kind of wood things they used to do in yesteryear. Of course not. Or are you talking about getting those clothes, sorting them into the colours and the non-colours, and putting them in a machine in separate washes and making them dry? Couldn't do that, no way.
Yes, right, there's kids. Most men would not be able to have kids without a woman that they've duped into doing it for much cheaper than the going rate. Imagine how many men wouldn't have children at all if every woman charged for it.
Duped into doing it for much cheaper than the going rate. There's so much kind of there's no sense to it. What she's talking about, the 200,000 to get a surrogate. Women are being duped into it. Like, red flag, emergency.
Every birth as a surrogate birth. You know how many men would stop with their, oh, I want 12 kids, oh, I want a football team. You know how quickly they'd shut the fuck up about that? Yeah, because they know that you're providing them an invaluable service for free. All they're obsessed with is winning, and it's like a toddler. They only want to play if they're going to win. And their prize as the grown men is a legacy. So that's why they want to have 12 kids. They just want to use your body to pump out their little winning chips, their little Monopoly pieces. But what do most...
Who said they want to have 12 kids? I don't know any men with 12 kids. So it's just anyway. Why am I trying to? Why, Stephen, why are you trying to make sense of the nonsense? Play.
Men bring to the table a paycheck, and they want you to act like you're their little servant, and like you're nothing without them, and like you're so dependent on them. Tough shit. You know, they also wanted us to stay out of the schools and out of the workplace and out of all these things, and now we see why. Because it's not fun for them to play unless they are the ones winning. Because they have the mentality of a fucking toddler. Okay, so yeah, do not worry about what these men are saying about what kind of women they want. They want to be...
Who says we want to keep them out of the school? So I'm gonna stop at it. Because I'm not, just because I let things go doesn't mean I agree with any of it. Who's trying to keep them out of the schools and the workplace? Who? Are we talking about now, or are we talking about 1,000 million billion years ago? That was a different kind of social structure. Anyway, this is Stephen. Don't try and make sense of the nonsense.
Made to feel like they are the center of the entire universe, okay? They want to be made to feel like somebody can't live without them because they know damn well that they are useless and a leech. The amount of value that men can extract from a woman over the course of her entire...
Men are useless and a leech. Now, who are the traditional providers throughout the history of time, since the beginning? Who are the traditional providers? I think there's one Amazonian tribe in history of the world, which, and everywhere else in the world, who were the, oh gosh, man. And I don't want to use the word leech. She said the word leech, but if so, let's let it go. It's just nonsense.
Lifetime is way more than these men will even earn in the course of their entire lifetime, financially wise. And they are not bringing companionship to the table. They're not bringing understanding to the table. They're not bringing anything solid to the table except for maybe a paycheck. And you might as well live with...
They're not bringing, what was it, understand? Oh, I can't move rewind. Something about we're not bringing something, an understanding, we're only bringing a paycheck. Says who? She's got nothing to say. Again, listen, just watch if there's got one positive thing to say in the whole duration of this tirade. Wow.
The roommate, if the paycheck is what you're interested in. You know, you might as well live with someone who's not also always pestering you to do things in the bed.
I'm going to have to rewind this bit. This is kind of mic drop moment. Sorry. She's talking about a roommate thing.
To the table. They're not bringing anything solid to the table except for maybe a paycheck. And you might as well live with a roommate if the paycheck is what you're interested in. You know, you might as well live with someone who's not also always pestering you.
You might as well live with a roommate if a paycheck is all that you're interested in. So you might as well live in a house share if you're only interested in a paycheck. But that if you're living with a roommate, that roommate's not the roommate's not providing for you. You'd be having to provide for yourself. So anyway, we know it's just bullshit. What am I even bothering? Again, this is nonsense. It's just a stupid point. And then when you lay up with, listen, we all got different points of view, but when the points are all stupid and their foundation, I don't like saying the word, but it's just sometimes it's true. And when it's 1,000 times over the same stupid level of S, then it is what it is. Let's play.
To do things in the bedroom that you don't want to be doing. Because again, it does not fun for them unless they're the...
Doing things in the bedroom that you don't want to be doing. Remember when I said right at the beginning about agendas and things like that, and some people, they're aiming for the society about where things are going, where they don't want women to be with men, and they don't want men to be with women, and they're trying to convince people. They're trying to talk people into not being straight, basically, and they're not doing it in a direct way, like don't be straight, but just women stay over here to the left, stay over to the left, the yuck men over there, and men stay over here to the right, stay over here to the right, yuck women over there, you know what I mean? Or they're all toxic anyway, we'll just wait it out. We don't really want them, and we don't really want them. This is the source of misinformation and us trying to gear society to where it is. So you need to stay away. And listen, if you agree with her or the kind of the sentiment that she's trying to put across, fair enough. I'm more than happy. But I'm just worried about the people who are being driven down this route. And I don't think... Let's just play.
One winning, right? Always pushing you to do more and more more and more depraved stuff because that to them feels like conquering and winning, you know? Because again, they're just doing that thing that toddlers do when they just hit you for fun, just like for a reaction. And that's why men play so many pranks on their girlfriends, and like their dry sense of humor is actually so mean and is just nagging her all the time. Because just like toddlers, men like to feel like they are in charge for no reason. The only thing that matters to them is the size of their ego. And nothing shrinks their ego faster than realizing that a woman doesn't need them for shit. That a woman's actually doing them a fucking favor by being in their company. They hate that. And so they'll go out.
I let all the petty things about childish stuff and ego go by, and I think she just finished up with like men. What's it now? I can't listen. I can't. Sorry, I don't. Again, I don't like rewinding bullshit. But she finished up another mic drop moment in a minute.
What matters to them is the size of their ego. And nothing shrinks their ego faster than realizing that a woman doesn't need them for shit. That a woman's actually doing them a fucking favor by being in their company. They hate.
A woman's actually doing them a fucking favour by being in their company. Nobody's doing anybody a favour by being in anybody's company on either side. You toxic. Oh man, you need to be able to do it. You are a toxic something anyway. You just misguided and oh my gosh. But your video gold anyway, and in some ways. But I'm gonna have to have a shower after this because the negativity is just at peak. Anyway, let's go.
And so they'll go out of their way to make you feel like it's their presence that's the prize. When it's not. It's yours, ladies. So do with that what you will. You do not need to pretend to depend on a man. Because you don't. You find your way just fine. You'll be okay. Women have been. That's why we're still around despite the fact that men literally annihilate us every single day. Every 5 days just in the US there's a femicide. It's just the US. So literally every day women are just offed for no reason other than men need to feel like the main character, men need to feel like they have some sort of hold or power or something over us. And yet we're still here because they are independent enough to live without a man. Like to say that just because she gets around a man that a woman needs to start pretending like she's dependent on him.
They always throw out the niche, don't they? And listen, listen, what about the male victims? What about the male victims of things as well? Just to get a little bit of balance. Oh, they don't count or don't care. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist? Okay, so that's it then. Anyway, put on the victim hat and let's roll with that.
Women have never been dependent on men. The only people that women can depend on is other women. It's not men, and it never has been. Men betray women all the time. Men leave women when they're sick, run off on their wives all the time. Men literally cause women to have autoimmune disorders from the crazy-making behavior and the mistreatment and the constant stress and anxiety that they present to women. So, no, men actually do believe that women are independent. That's what they treat.
Listen, I can't let it go. I know I shouldn't get drawn in. Listen, as soon as the niche gets used to kind of taint the majority, as soon as this kind of toxic, as soon as you're playing around with the variables which support a distorted narrative, then which is what she's doing. The niche doesn't represent the majority and you can't get away from individual. So just keep on grouping people together and grouping everybody into this little negative little pinhead. It's definitely not healthy, and this will be the last video I do of this lady. It's not what I need personally. Even if you guys are happy with it, and I'm sure you wouldn't be, but me personally, my soul, it doesn't need this negativity.
They treat us like a toddler treats an adult. They want us to understand all of their contradictions and be able to read their mind and use the right tone when we need to and gentle parent them and like make them feel like a real big strong little dude. He's mommy's little helper. Fuck that. They come out here and they tell on themselves every single day. You just have to listen. So I hope you are, ladies. Stay safe out there. I love you so much. Godspeed.
Why does
Definite does not bat for. She bats same team. Bats same team, no doubt about it. And she just wants a bigger pool of people to date. That's it. Anyway, I'm literally going to take a shower. I need to kind of cleanse. I'm not doing any more videos today. I just need to kind of, don't need that mindset, you know what I mean? But it's necessary to kind of like drill down and expose it for what it is, especially that kind of misinformation and that's the straw man of just throwing out assertions without no fact, and looking at the niche where there is a tiny bit of truth and kind of generalizing it to the group of everybody like it's the norm and not like it's not a distortion of truth. The truth is here, but it's a distortion of truth when you make it all of this, when it's that, or it's that, like a pinhead. Yeah. This lady's channel, if you look in the top left, is full of that. I've done a few videos on her of the last few days, or her kind of input, and I kind of got these different kind of influences and perspectives, as I said at the start. But I don't know how much bullshit videos and bullshit insights I really want to publish on my channel. I'm going to be calling it out from time to time, of course, but I think the foundation of whatever video I review probably needs to be founded in truth for a start, and in some kind of logic and positivity. You know what I mean? And if they kind of stray, I kind of bring them in. I don't know if I can do too many videos which are kind of all about bullshit and misinformation and just some twisted political narrative that they're trying to, drive society towards. Some things to think about from a deep and kind of philosophical perspective. It is kind of interesting on some level. Listen, but if you're interested in these types of deep dives, which are kind of socially challenging, let me know in the comments. And I'll see from the views as well. Anyway, if nobody wants to view this type of thing, then fair enough. And if you do, I guess we'll seek it out and expose it where it lies. Anyway, please like, subscribe. Please click on the Deck Heroes icon. Click on subscribe. 100% free. Blood in, blood out. That is Stephen. I'm out.